Hi, Omri. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And well, let's start our interview. So starting with revenue. Adcore's revenue has been growing consistently. However, one thing that caught my attention is the growth by region. Could you give us some color regarding how the company is growing across different regions and what the main drivers are in each area?
Yeah, 100%. First, we've been able to present a very strong top line quarter in terms of growth, as clearly the number indicates. I would say when we go deep dive, to see per region, it was still a mix. We still seeing APAC as a leader of, a revenue generator, and we see a lot of growth coming from this market. I think this is traditional reason why that's the case. After EMEA, that was the second market we went into, so it's got more, I would say, history behind it and more people and personnel, in this region compared to North America, for example. So we have 3 offices in APAC. We have a big office in Australia and 2 offices in Hong Kong and in Shanghai in the mainland as well. So there's more coverage in terms of people and boots on the ground in this region. So I think that's the main driver of the big differences between North America and and APAC. North America, we had some headwind, I would say, due to stop activity in 2025. We hope this is more or less stabilizing now. So we're still optimistic about the long-term future of this market and our ability to generate growth over there. But again, we need to invest more in order to generate more revenue in this region. We're not big enough, we don't have enough people in this region in order to generate enough revenue. I would say with EMEA, this was a bit of a different story, because I think in EMEA, we had some headwinds that was more geopolitical, we had the conflict in the Middle East and stuff like that didn't really help. So I think that stabilized as well. So I think again, APAC, very strong region for us, and we expected to see a growth coming from this region. EMEA stabilizing, things are becoming more stable, so that's positive. And North America, for the long run, that should be the biggest region for us in terms of potential revenue, I would say, but it's required additional investment from the company.
Okay, so the Asian Pacific region is growing much more than the other regions because you have a bigger sales team there, or there is any other factor?
Yes, I would say personnel is a factor, right? We have more people on the ground. It's just not just sales team, also post-sales team. So I think that's good. Again, it was more stable in terms of geopolitical tension. So there's less going on in this region. Hopefully it's going to stay this way. EMEA wasn't exactly the case. And yeah, like I say, North America, I think the biggest issue is we need a bigger team over there, and we need to increase the investment in order to generate more revenue.
Mm-hmm. And how is your strategy going forward? I mean, you just said that the North America part of the business could be the bigger part of the business, right? How do you plan to grow in North America? I also didn't understand why you didn't grow in North America, but how do you plan to revert the situation and grow there?
Yeah. So that's a good question. I would say I would split my answer to 2. We want to see the growth in North America to be technology lead growth first and foremost. So now we have more mature application, a lot of agentic apps that we introduced to the market. So we think we would ideally like to see this, type of, I would say, technology and applications that generate the future revenue in this specific region. I think less services, more technology. So this is one. And like I say, 2, we need to invest more. So we need more people in this region, more sales force, in order to, to knock on enough doors and basically acquire new customers. So that's, I think, the combination between, we have ready product, a mature product we can go to market with. I think that's positive, and I think that should be the number 1 target for us in North America, and invest more. That means more sales force in North America in order to, to acquire new clients.
So you need to pretty much spend more in North America in terms of marketing and also in sales team. That would be it, right?
Yeah, that's a big driver of future growth over there.
And when do you plan to focus on North America? Do you plan to try to make that region grow now, or what's your strategy?
So technology-wise, I think like some of the apps are more mature. Like we are tending now to invest in promoting them, and the number one market for it going to be North America. So this means the time is now. Having said that, it will take time to scale. So with technology, it's scaling a bit slower, right? Because the size of a deal, it's not as big as services, so it's take more time to scale. So I think H2 is where we start to invest in generating more revenue, technology related revenue from this region. I would say 2027, that's where we should see like already big movement, so it's going to be big enough to move the needle.
Okay. Should we expect, I guess, yes, right? But so we should expect more CapEx in that region in terms of more spending there in marketings and sales, right?
I would say yes. But usually it is a saying that a sell position should pay itself, right? So for one end, you invest more, but that's the type of position at least that basically pay itself. You can say it for almost any other position in the company, right?
Okay. And how is your technology segment, your apps such as Media Blast and Proposaly evolving? How has this division been growing as expected? How is it going on?
Yeah, so I think like there's a lot going on, right? Like now with AI and agentics, there's a lot going on. There's massive opportunities for us, both with Proposaly that did a big, I would say, almost a pivot from a document sales workflow platform to a fully agentic sales platform. So that's like a big difference from where it was positioned, I would say, even 6 months ago. So this is one. We introduced AI Studio, which is a fully, I would say, not agentic, but AI generative tool for creative. So that's big. Already have paid client, and we see good traction over there. And we're going to introduce in Q3 another agent, which we call Total Eclipse. It's going to do agentic media buying or campaign management. So see, like, it's a lot. So, and the focus should go as we're moving along, like H2 and towards H2 2026 and toward 2027. It's less about R&D per se, or because we already built it, ship it. So I wouldn't say, obviously, there's still work that need to be done in order to improve the tools. But I would say most of the heavy lifting, I would say it's fair to say that it's going to be done by the end of this year max, And then it's more about go-to-market, acquiring, like new clients, like making sure that we can get like more revenue running and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a shift of where the company is looking right now, but that's a positive thing, and it's positive for shareholders as well. That means like shift is going from investing, which is basically writing the code and building the apps, to generate revenue, acquiring more clients, and basically making sure that the numbers are looking great.
Okay. And which apps would you say that are already mature? All of them, some of them?
Yeah, I would say AI Studio working, like paying client, Proposaly mature to some extent. Definitely the document part of it is mature. Agentic is a bit new, but I would say is more mature, let's say, the Total Eclipse. Total Eclipse is still, I would say, we plan it to be in MVP stage in about 1 month's time. So it's not a long time, since we can move very fast now. But I would say if we have the same conversation, and we should, next quarter, then I would say checked. All 3 apps should be matured, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which is fast and exciting as well.
Okay. And what percentage of Adcore's total revenue does this technology division, represent today?
Yeah, today I would say it's minimal. It's like it's let's say less than even 10% if you look pure technology play. but I think like the future should be, technology. So, but like I said, technology, it's take more time to ramp up the revenue, right? Because you need to acquire like client by client. Usually they're going to pay more if you less if you compare it to services. So it's have more of a runway to lift off, but once it's lift off, it's very powerful because it comes with very good margins and you get better multiples for it as a company. So I think like the future should be brighter in that regard.
So I was going to ask you about gross margin. Why is it still in the 30% range? But I guess that's the reason why it is still
I mean when you have like components that basically part of the clients that we do like we act as principal. So basically these media buying expenses attached to it, and basically it's come with lower gross margin. I would say ideally for us, as let's say as an hybrid company, I would say 40 to 50%. This is where we aim in terms of gross margin. It can fluctuate a bit, but if we talk in pure technology, then there should be like 80%, 90%, 70%. It depends a bit, because this now with agentic, you have like AI token as expenses, so it's like, it's like SaaS, I would say pure SaaS, maybe 90% gross margin. Would say for agentic tool, maybe even 70%, it's okay still, it's defendable. So I think like, but again, 70%, it's a very big difference where we stand today, right?
Yeah. So, and that's what is going to increase your margin, right? And how much and where do you see this technology segment going? Could it start representing 50% of revenue? Would it take too much time to get there? Would it be too difficult to sell the products?
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding. I don't think there's no such a thing as too much time, or there's no like glass ceiling. There's no, let's say, any limit what we can do, so if we're talking about 5% of revenue, that's mean give or take, I would say a bit more than maybe 15 million ARR in Canadian dollar, let's say a bit more than 10 million ARR. So that's not something you can do in 1 year in technology. But let's say if you're lucky and you can move fast, and you have enough capital behind it, then maybe in 2 years' time, 2 to 3 years' time, you can do even more than 10 million ARR.
Okay. And how is Media Blast going? Does it continue to grow? Do you know how much annual recurring revenue it is generating?
Yeah, so Media Blast was growing really fast until I would say Q1 2025. Then we saw it a bit like downturn, like in terms of like the up revenue for multiple reasons. I think like we have some, I would say, channel-related reasons, in let's say it was more difficult for new clients to onboard, to some of channels, like Google and other like that. I would say it's now more or less stabilized. So we look at, let's say, 1 million ARR, give or take, USD. So that's a 1.5 maybe Canadian. But I think like Media Blast now with the new agentic tool can actually have a bigger potential. So I think like these agentic tools can give like a tailwind into Media Blast sales as well. So Media Blast can actually accelerate now with the new agentic tools as well. So I think like it's stabilized, it's not drifting down anymore, which is positive. But we think now with the new agentic tool, actually that can go back to growing trends as well.
Now, talking now about Proposaly. Last time we spoke, Proposaly was about to be launched. Why is this app so important? I actually saw your presentation on YouTube, and I think Proposaly could be a huge app. I think it is incredible, right? And how has it been performing? Is it already generating revenue? How much?
Yeah, so I would say the following. Why this app is important? Because sales is important, and basically this app solves a very critical, I would say, issue within every business, which is acquiring more clients and sales. So this like the app is important because it's solving in a very important part of, let's say, every business on planet Earth. So this is one. B, I would say, also Proposaly involved. It started like I say, like as a SaaS tool, document sales flow tool, and becoming now did almost a pivot to becoming like a fully agentic tool for sales. So we have 4 agents: inbound agent, outreach agent, a deal agent, the customer agent, all sit, in a different, let's say, throughout your sales arc, and basically help to get the deal done, really to post revenue. So that's big. So Proposaly, in a sense, was already more or less ready as a SaaS tool. Then we took a step back, rebuild it, add another layer of the agentic layer, and now we are ready with these 2 layers, right? So, and we do have clients, we have early revenue, for Proposaly, but it's still in a very early beta stage. But now it took a bit of a step back to introduce the agentic layer of the software, but I think it will well worth the effort because it's becoming a much more dangerous animal now, Proposaly. And we'll see it. We'll see it's solving a bigger problem. It's also a touch, touching different type of customer maybe, and also give us more starting point with a specific organization. If before we needed to we need them to take the entire tool, now they can choose and pick, right? I just want the inbound agents, I just want the outreach agents, I want everything. They can choose, and which is it's making it the sell an easier sell, I would say.
And could you talk a little about what Proposaly does and what kind of problem it solves? I was seeing the presentation, the demo video, and it covers the entire selling journey of the person, of the client, right?
Right, 100%. So Proposaly start even pre-lead. So we started, let's say, maybe as an agent or a bot that sit on the client website, or even phone. You can now call a phone line, and our agent will speak with you and basically can tell you everything you want and sell you to your phone the offer, whatever it needs. So it started even before the lead started, right? So it can generate the lead. It can maybe even even bypass the lead and go straight to send an offer. So that's where it starts. And then it's end even post revenue. So even after you do revenue, we have an agent that basically do customer success, making sure that basically is that you are happy, maybe making offer to you for upsell and cross-sell. So like you say, it's going from the pre-lead to post revenue stage, everything agentic now. We control everything because we have the pipes, right? We have all the infrastructure that we built before, so we control everything, and that's pretty big. A lot of agentic tools just build the agent, right? But they don't control the infrastructure. So they need somebody else's infrastructure in order to work with it, right? For us, we can be hybrid. We can either work with somebody else's infrastructure, just act as an agent, but we can also come with the infrastructure ourselves. So this gives us a better angle, I would say, going into new businesses.
Okay. Now, do you plan to launch more apps this year, or is it time to focus on maturing?
No. I think we should focus on what we already have. 3 is a lot, trust me.
Okay, I can imagine. And what about the legacy segment? What about the services division? How is it going?
So I think the service division is continuing to grow. It's not growing exponentially. Services, it's a linear business by definition, but I would say it's growing okay. And I think this division, I would say, can also accelerate because of the technology, because we see a lot of every new client that we start working with, it doesn't matter if it's a technology company, it's a services company, it's another touch point that the company have. And more touch point, more opportunity to work in other part of, let's say, what the company do. So I think scaling in one part of the company should have positive effect on the other side of the company as well.
Okay. In the fourth quarter earnings call, you said that Adcore would become an AI first company in 2026. What does that mean, and how has AI been impacting and transforming Adcore? A lot to say there.
A lot. I would say I would give you a few examples, so just so you understand, and we focus, let's say in everything related technology, for example. So in the beginning of 2026, I told my team that basically it is no more. I expect that every code that we build will be fully done by AI. So there's no more manual coding in this company anymore. It took them a month or two to digest and adapt, and now I'm happy to say that's the case. Like none of our developers are writing code themselves. It's just like working with Claude, for example, and basically all the code is done by the AI. So this is one. Now the focus is actually we want to increase efficiency. So we have another call with the team. I told them we want to get X2 efficiency. So okay, we write everything with AI, but we want to be more efficient doing so. And then also we see positive progress. So I think like in terms of just like writing code, our ability now, if I need to compare where we stand today to where we stand, let's say 12 months ago, then we are writing code maybe between X3 to X5 faster. This is one. Also, the ability to write, I would say, more complex line of code or feature is growing up a lot. So there's no more mission impossible for us. Like if we can think about it, we can build it. And that's a big step forward as well. So, and that's give us the confidence, by the way, to go ahead and after like Proposaly is massive. And we say, okay, but we can still now handle another tool like AI Studio and even another tool like Total Eclipse. So I think like just like in terms of, let's say, technology and innovation, that's already we are in unknown territory, you know, like writing code X5 faster, you know, like a code is much more complex now. And you see like from I would say historically SaaS apps and SaaS tool, we are now moving only to agentic tools, you know. So we no longer build, let's say, a regular SaaS app anymore. Everything is agentic. So if it's not agentic, we're not going to build it.
Crazy. Okay.
Yes, 100%.
Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think like again, you know, like obviously I know like for investors, you know, you have the touch point every quarter and you hear me speaking and maybe we showcase some of the new technology. But trust me that behind the scene, we are in a sprint. Not even a marathon. We move very fast now and build a lot of things. You see, gonna see focus shifting from let's say building to more to revenue generating, go to market. So this shift gonna start now in H2, but it will be more clear to everyone, I would say, in 2027. And I think, like I said, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of potential for company like ADCO nowadays.
Okay. Omri, it was a pleasure talking to you, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
It's my pleasure as well. Thank you, Victor, for having me.